We've showed people some places here. What is the overall buying process like here, and how does that differ from the United States? Today's kind of a house hunter's version of our Connecticutans vlog. So we're going to take you to a few different properties, and at the very end we're going to ask Ryan some more general questions about real estate that we may not get to when we're showing you houses. So first we are at, where are we at?
We're at Zenith.
We're at Zenith. So it's here in the Zona Romantica. We'll take you inside and talk all about it. So this is our first look inside the apartment. Here's our first bedroom. 1 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Views of the city. Nice bathrooms. Here's our second bathroom. This would be your guest bath. Here's our living room. I'll take you out there in a second. Dining room and kitchen. Ryan's opening this up for us actually. Nice big balcony. Great views of the city. So you can see the church way down there. A little bit of the water. And here's the city. Tell us a little bit about yourself first. Sorry, I didn't tell you about that.
Not a problem. So I'm originally from California, but I've been living here in Puerto Vallarta for 5 years now. And I became a realtor when I moved down here. And I live in paradise.
Tell us a little bit about this property here at Zenith.
So Zenith was finished at the end of 2015. And it's one of the only developments, or one of the few developments right now that is completed. So you're not buying something that's pre-construction, which is really convenient for people who are a little nervous when entering the market and something's not completed yet because you don't get a deed right away. So this property is finished, ready to move into tomorrow.
And it's a 1 bedroom, 2 bath?
This is a 1 bedroom, 2 bath. They seem to be pretty popular right now in Puerto Vallarta because they're really great for rentals.
So how much does this unit cost?
This unit that we're in right now is $275,000 US.
And about how many square feet is it?
It's about 970 square feet.
First, how does the size of this place compare to like a typical condo that you see on the market here in Puerto Vallarta?
This is about average. You see that people don't necessarily want something too large. So about 1,000 square feet seems to be the average.
And about the price, obviously this building's pretty much brand new, but how does the price compare for this area for similar?
Prices in Old Town Puerto Vallarta and the Zona Romantica are in the $200,000 to $300,000 range.
How does this building, the Zenith building, compare to some of the other buildings that are being constructed here in the area, particularly off of Basilio Badillo in this area?
Yeah, so this is actually very typical of what you see now being built in Puerto Vallarta. Buildings that have rooftop pools, they've got gyms, they've got underground parking, all the modern amenities that people are looking for when purchasing.
And now we're going to head up to the rooftop pool that Ryan spoke about. I'll show you some views from up there. There's going to be something we forget to talk about, so just if you have any questions, comment below, or I'm going to link Ryan's website, email address, and all that below as well, so you can just ask him directly. Coming right off the elevator, you've got ocean views, city views, spot to lounge, grill, more views. Is this 360?
Pretty much.
You got a jacuzzi here. Some more construction here. I'm gonna ask Ryan about how that affects the views along with this building as well, and just in general how that works here in Puerto Vallarta. Our newer buildings here, they have gyms as well along with the pool, or?
Most of the newer buildings that are being built right now are going to have gyms included in them.
And what's like the rule or law, if you will, on construction height, and how are these buildings here going to affect this rooftop pool or potentially like your unit down below?
So for example, you see right now the building right over there, it will affect the view from the rooftop here. The building height is 7 stories, 6 with a rooftop. And so what you're seeing there is the very top of the building.
So it's not going to go any higher than what we see here. With all the nice stuff up here, made me think about it, but what are the HOA dues here, and then what are they typically like in newer condo buildings?
Sure, so HOA dues typically are about $2 a square foot, square meter. So like this unit, for example, that we just looked at, the HOA dues are about 4,000 pesos per month. That equates to about a little over $200 a month.
Okay.
And that includes your gym, your water, your building maintenance.
I think that's all we have for this building. Again, if you have questions, contact Ryan or comment below. We're gonna head to another unit in a different building and we're gonna show you, kind of compare that one to this one. All right, we made it to the second property. It's a little bit further back on Basilio Badillo, still in the Colonia Emiliano Zapata. So we wanted to show you a place that's a little bit more affordable than Zenith. So the price range is much lower, and Ryan's gonna give us a quick tour of the condo, and then he'll give you some information about it as well.
So here we have the kitchen, obviously, and dining room.
Here.
You've got 2 bedrooms included in this unit.
Here's the first bedroom. I believe this is a full-size bed, so you can kind of tell about how much space it's taking up.
Queen size bed.
Queen size, sorry.
And a king in this bedroom.
Oh, nice. Okay. So this bedroom's pretty big. Get this view. The closet over there. So this is definitely a more traditionally Mexican condo.
This is a lot more traditional. This is a lot more of what you can expect to see here in Puerto Vallarta. And you have a little courtyard patio area and 2 bathrooms.
So this looks out, probably won't pick it up on the camera, but the ocean is out there. Maybe a half a mountain. CrossFit's down there where we go if you follow the vlogs. We've got 2 bathrooms. One here, and there's actually one on the other side. So now that people have seen the place, they want to know how much it costs.
So this condo costs $139,000 US.
Do you know how many square feet this unit is?
This unit is 617 square feet.
617, so a little smaller, I guess about 300 square feet smaller than the other one, just under half as much. Is that a pretty typical price for similar condos in this area and throughout the city?
Not in this area, actually. If you go further north in Centro and Cinco de Diciembre, then yes, you'll see prices more like this and condos more like this. But here in Old Town, prices tend to be a lot higher because this is where everyone wants to be. So this property's only been on the market 67 days, so it's likely to sell pretty quickly.
Okay, so this one's definitely, maybe not underpriced, but it's priced pretty fairly right now, you believe?
Right, exactly.
Okay, tell us a little bit about maybe some possible renovations. So if someone wants to move in here and maybe make it a little bit more cozy, about how much would that cost, and what are some things that you see that could be done to like improve this unit pretty quickly?
Sure. So like the kitchen here is maybe a little small, but I think
with this bench here.
But I think that with about 20,000 US dollars, you could completely remodel this unit, new floors, get rid of the kitchen, move it, extend the bathrooms a little bit, and so for $20,000 you could get a brand new unit.
This unit and maybe other units similar to this that are more traditional, does it have an HOA dues, or how does that work for these type of places?
Normally, yes, condos here in Old Town have HOA dues. This particular unit, though, does not, so you don't have to pay any extra monthly fees.
What would be an advantage to buying a more traditional home like this one as compared to maybe choosing to buy a property that's in a larger condo unit with 50 plus units or even 10 plus units?
Sure. People who tend to buy these kinds of units are people who want to come down here and spend more time out of the year or completely retire and live down here. Whereas people who buy in buildings like Zenith, they are more interested in renting out their condo when they're not here. So in a building like this, it's going to be a lot more quieter, whereas a building like Zenith is going to be a lot busier.
Ryan is going to answer your questions about real estate. So what is, we've showed people some places here, what is the overall buying process like here, and how does that differ from the United States?
So actually the process is very similar to the US. The only major difference is that here the property is held in the bank trust, the fideicomiso. So you'll make an offer. Once the offer is accepted and you have your close of contingencies, then you'll fund the escrow account. At that point then we'll begin the process of creating the fideicomiso for you. And then once that's created and everything else has been fulfilled, then you, in about 45 to 90 days or so, you can take possession of the property and you'll get your escritura or your property deed.
So is it more cash driven here? Can you get loans? or mortgages? How does that work?
I'd say about 95% of our market, our buyers, are cash-only buyers. So you do have to have cash to buy here. Financing is only just now starting to become available. The interest rates right now are as low as 0%, with some asterisks there, and I've seen as high as 18%.
Well, I know someone's going to ask what those asterisks are, so if you can maybe just like, yeah, how do you get 0? Everybody wants 0. How do you get
Sure,
that?
of course, everyone wants 0. There's a program right now through Cross-Border Investment, and they offer a 0% interest rate. Now, your closing costs go up quite a bit, and there's some other added fees that are included with that. You'll have to talk to Cross-Border Investment in order to get all of their information.
Okay, we'll link that below. But it sounds like you probably, in general, correct me if I'm wrong, you need more cash up front to invest, whether you're getting a mortgage or not here, than you do in the States. Typically, is that about right?
Well, yeah, even when you get a financing here, you'll still need about 35% down.
So I know we kind of only talked about this 6-8 block area, which is kind of a theme for our videos, but how do the prices and everything compare if you go outside to other areas in the Bay here?
Yeah, so as soon as you go further south from Zona Romantica, then prices start to go up. That's where it becomes more gated communities, and it's a lot more expensive.
Further south is like towards Miss Maloya?
Exactly.
Okay.
So Conchas Chinas, Amapas, those neighborhoods. When you go further north across the river, then prices start to drop again. So home prices there are a lot more affordable because it's a little less desirable, but you still have access to the Malecone, lots of great shops, restaurants, bars. We are back in the car. We're gonna head back to Ryan's office, and he's gonna answer a few more questions. He's gonna give you some information about how the market is acting and moving. Just give us an overview of what the market is like right now. So in a year-to-date comparison and year-over-year comparison, we see that there is a 43% increase in the number of sales in condos here in Old Town versus last year.
What does that mean for a potential buyer?
It means that there's a lot of movement in the market, whereas before things that used to sit on the market for a year or more, now they're starting to move much quicker.
So with the rising prices, does the buying process, which we touched on a little bit earlier, but how does negotiating the price work? So say the place we went to earlier is $275. How does that work here?
So on pre-construction properties, there isn't really much room to negotiate. About the only thing you can negotiate on is appliances and things within the apartment. On properties that are already constructed, though, especially for somebody who's selling a second home, those people are willing to negotiate, and you can negotiate just like you can in the US or Canada. The average percent off list price right now here in Old Town is about 5%. So if you look at the price, you can estimate that you can get about 5% off of that price.
All right, Ryan, we'll just finish up with one more and then we'll let you go. For people that want to buy a home in Puerto Vallarta, what is something they should know about the market or the process of buying that most people don't seem to understand?
Sure. There's a lot of times people come into the office and they ask about a 99-year lease on the property. They've heard that you can't actually own property as a foreigner in Mexico, and that's not true at all. You actually own the property through a bank trust called a fideicomiso. The bank holds your deed for you, but your name is on the deed. You have full title to the property. The bank trust is good for 50 years, and it renews automatically every year after that.
If you're just on a tourist visa, can you buy property here versus getting a temporary residency? How does that work?
Yeah, so you don't have to become a resident of Mexico or a citizen to buy property here. You can own it through a regular tourist visa.
We're gonna let Ryan go here. If you have any questions about real estate or the process of buying a house here, just comment below or shoot Ryan an email, visit his website. I believe his email is realtor@ryandonner.com. I get that right? And we'll link that below. So ask him all of your questions. He'll be able to better answer it than I will. Ryan, do you have any parting thoughts for our folks here?
We hope you come down to Puerto Vallarta and buy a piece of property.
Yeah, of course. And we'll get you a beer if you do as well. Or Ryan will, how about that? Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell that we get notified every time we upload a new video. Hasta mañana. This is a bonus question time. This one comes from John L. in the YouTube comment section. John asked about what it's like to buy land here in Puerto Vallarta and how much it costs to buy. I think specifically he wants to build a house that's about 250 square meters. So he's curious as to how much ballpark that costs and what the general like construction costs are like. So hopefully, John, this will cover your question.
So land really varies in price depending on the area that you are. Obviously, if you're closer here in Old Town, Puerto Vallarta, then the price is going to be a lot higher. Also, the closer to the beach you get, the more expensive land is going to get. The further north of the city you go, though, that's where you can start to find some really affordable lots. The cost to construct is about $200 a square foot, which is very typical as what you'd see in the US or Canada.
And I don't know, this probably varies greatly, but let's say John buys his piece of land and gets like his house designed or whatever, if you will. About how long would it take typically for that to be constructed?
It would take about a year to finish.
Okay, a year to finish. And you said some of the lots are a little bit more affordable on the north part of town. Do you have any type of ballpark as to what those may go for?
You're probably talking more like in the under $100,000 range.
Okay, for $100,000 for how much land?
For those, they're probably 1/8 of an acre to 1/2 an acre.